Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into some updates straight from Midrand, where the Public Safety Department has been cracking down on bylaw offences in a very serious way. As always, make sure you watch until the end so you can see the sources of this news and try to verify it for yourself. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our updates. Now, in Midrand this week, the Public Safety Department really made their presence felt. They have been running operations focusing on bylaw offences that are often overlooked but have a huge impact on how communities function. These aren't just about the big headline crimes, but also the everyday issues that affect order, cleanliness, and safety in the area. Things like illegal dumping, unlicensed trading, public drinking, noise disturbances, and even non-compliance with building regulations were on the radar. The department deployed officers in various spots, and residents were quick to notice the tighter enforcement. For a long time, people have been saying that bylaw offences create a sense of disorder that spills into bigger crimes. When you walk through a neighborhood filled with litter, abandoned cars, or loud parties running until the morning hours, it sends a signal that rules don't matter. So, the Public Safety Department is trying to flip that narrative, showing that rules do matter, and if you break them, there will be consequences. One of the biggest targets of the operation was illegal trading. In Midrand, a fast-growing area with a mix of formal and informal businesses, there are many street traders who operate without licenses. Now, trading itself isn't necessarily a problem, but when it's unregulated, it becomes unfair for those who pay for their permits and follow the rules. The officers confiscated goods from unlicensed vendors and issued fines. Some people were upset, arguing that many of these traders are just trying to make a living. But on the other side, law-abiding businesses welcome the action, saying it levels the playing field. Noise pollution was another focus. Residents have been complaining about loud music from taverns, clubs, and even households. It's one thing to enjoy yourself on a Friday night, but it's another when people across the street can't sleep. Several establishments were fined, and in some cases, equipment was seized. That alone sparked debates, with some community members joking that Midrand is finally going to get its beauty sleep. Then there's illegal dumping, which has become a massive issue not just in Midrand but across Johannesburg. The department used this operation to target hotspots where people have been dumping building rubble, old furniture, and even household waste in open spaces. Trucks were sent to clean up, but at the same time, offenders were tracked and fined. Officials stressed that illegal dumping poses health risks, attracts rodents, and lowers the overall quality of life. Another surprising element of the operation was traffic enforcement tied to bylaws. People who park in restricted areas, block driveways, or run informal taxi ranks without permits were pulled aside and fined. This was met with mixed reactions, as always. Some residents cheered, saying the roads felt safer and more organized, while others grumbled about the sudden strictness. Community feedback has been buzzing. On social media, some residents praised the crackdown, saying it's about time bylaw offenders are held accountable. They argue that Midrand is growing quickly, and if order isn't maintained now, it will spiral into chaos. Others, however, accuse the department of being too heavy-handed, especially towards small traders who they feel are being punished for just trying to survive in a tough economy. That's the constant balance, isn't it? Enforcing the rules but also showing compassion for the realities people face. The Public Safety Department defended its approach, saying that bylaw enforcement isn't about targeting the poor or disadvantaging people. Instead, it's about creating a city that works for everyone. They pointed out that illegal activities, even small ones, can create a chain reaction of problems. For example, unregulated food vendors might not follow hygiene standards, which could put public health at risk. Illegal dumping might not seem like a big deal, but once one person does it, it encourages others, and soon the entire area is filled with rubbish. So their stance is clear: better to tackle the small problems before they become big ones. It's also important to note that these operations weren't just one-off events. The department has promised more frequent patrols and consistent enforcement in Midrand and other parts of Johannesburg. They said the goal is not just to fine people but to educate them. Officers have been advising traders about how to apply for licenses, warning residents about waste disposal rules, and explaining why compliance is in everyone's best interest. From a broader perspective, this crackdown ties into the city's ongoing struggle to restore order and improve service delivery. Residents are constantly voicing frustration about lawlessness, whether it's reckless driving, hijacked buildings, or illegal street trading. These operations show that authorities are at least attempting to respond to those concerns. Of course, whether the momentum continues is the big question. South Africans know all too well that sometimes government campaigns start with a bang but fade after a few weeks. Looking at the political angle, opposition voices have already started questioning whether this is just a publicity stunt. They claim that with elections around the corner, authorities are suddenly taking action to win over frustrated residents. But others argue that whatever the motivation, the results are still beneficial. Clean streets, quieter neighborhoods, and safer roads are things people want, no matter the politics behind them. On a lighter note, some people online joke that Midrand residents should start a countdown to see how long the peace will last before someone sets up another illegal dump site or blasts music till sunrise. One resident even posted that she was finally able to sleep without her windows shaking from bass, but she's keeping her earplugs just in case. So, the crackdown has sparked real debate. On one hand, there's support for restoring order and improving quality of life. On the other hand, there's concern about fairness and the economic pressures people face. What's certain is that Midrand residents are paying attention, and they will be watching to see if the enforcement sticks or fades away. If you're watching this and you live in Johannesburg, I'd love to know what you think. Do you feel these crackdowns actually improve life in the city, or do you think they just create more tension between communities and authorities? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Before we wrap up, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the latest news and updates from around South Africa. We bring you stories that matter and voices from the ground, so make sure you stay connected. All images used in this video are for illustration purposes only. Sources of this news include Midrand Reporter, News 24, Times Live, Eyewitness News.